Yo, what up? It's Razor Poplar.
Before you can fly, you have to be free. Free from extreme poverty, free from Maoist rule.
What's going on?
That's the core message of this year's opening film at the Singapore International Film Festival. Directed by one of Australia's most celebrated directors, Bruce Beresford, Mao's Last Dancer is a profoundly moving adaptation from the best-selling autobiography of Chinese ballet dancer Li Cunxin.
可以了，继续上课吧。
对不起，同志，你觉得那个孩子怎么样？
Born into a peasant family in 1961, Li was plucked out of his impoverished village to join the then Madame Mao's Beijing Dance Academy at 11. When he turned 18, the charismatic and technically brilliant young dancer was selected to represent China in a cultural visit to the Houston Ballet Company. And Li decided to cling on to his newfound love and liberty in the United States. But there's always a price to pay. Li has not been allowed to return to China for years after his high-profile defection, and he's constantly haunted by fears for his family's safety. The movie was filmed in Australia, the United States and China. I'm sure you have the full support from the Australian side, but do you have problem gaining access to China?
You know, I don't really know the full story. We had a Chinese co-producer, a woman called Gong Ling, who seemed to know everybody in Beijing. I think there were problems backstage, and they never told me.
The filming of Mao's Last Dancer was not all smooth sailing. The Chinese authority had reportedly threatened to confiscate the footage, and Bruce Beresford's team was also asked to omit details of the Cultural Revolution in the script. I heard that there were restrictions like how you can't mention Madame Mao's name in the film. Were they really?
Yes, well, they told us when I had a meeting with some people from the ministry, they said you can't mention Madame Mao's name, and you certainly can't show her. They said no. And so, what could we do? We can't change it. I mean, this was an integral part of the story. So we just went ahead and got an actress who looked like Madame Mao and filmed it. And I kept thinking, the police are going to turn up any minute. They'll be here, you know. But they didn't come. And we had that scene where Madame Mao arrives at the school and they're all waving flags and yelling. And I thought, well, this will attract a lot of attention because we have thousands of people. You know? China, I think, has become much more liberal than it was. The Chinese people, they were basically very kind. And I think they thought, well, if they're making the film, well, let them do it, you know.
But it hasn't been screened in China? So.
It hasn't been screened in China, but a lot of people on the crew have emailed me. You can get DVDs everywhere.
All my friends actually saw the films.
How did they react to it?
But they're still laughing at me, saying, you know, Chi, you like, it's quite amateur, a lot of things, you know. I know it's true, but I also know they're joking, you know. I think they were very, very happy with what I've done.
In the next part, we'll find out more about this China-born British dancer.